Vox Machina. For those of you who've been into D&D, you've probably heard the name Critical Role. Critical Role is a Twitch channel that would stream their D&D campaigns, and the show Vox Machina is based off of their first campaign. I personally have not watched their original D&D campaign. I have, however, watched clips, seen comparisons to the show, and I really want to talk about it. I've personally been getting into D&D in the last couple of years, and I really like the show so far. I think that the plot overall is fairly predictable, at least from episode 1 and 2. However, episode 3 and onward, I have no idea what the fuck they're going to do with Percy's story, but we'll get to that in a sec. First, I want to talk about the big thing that I really enjoy about the show, and that is the characters in Vox Machina. Well, yes, this story of the goofy jackasses coming together to become heroes is not exactly new in storytelling. It is, however, interesting in this show because the characters themselves have so many interactions with each other in the show that it makes them a lot more endearing than in other shows. Each character in Vox Machina, and by that I mean the group of adventurers, has relationships with each other that the show likes to show off every episode. For example, Grog is a goofy, dumb tank character that I personally love very much, and every time he does something interesting makes me want to scream because I can channel my inner tank through Grog, and I love it. I am so turned on right now! But his relationships with other characters like Vax, Pike, and Scatland are all different depending on what he's doing with them. For example, with Scatland, it's essentially like an Ed and Eddie situation. If you've watched Ed and Eddie, you know what I'm talking about, where it's basically the big, dumb, goofy one with the short, mischievous one, and they're always kind of like going back and forth with each other when they're alone. When it comes to Pike and Grog, however, they're both basically raging alcoholics and they want to keep partying. And they both clearly care about each other, and it's heavily implied that they've known each other for a very long time. With Vax, however, it's more of a goofy brotherly relationship where they're just punching each other in the balls in episode 3. I personally really like it because it reminds me of me growing up with my friends punching each other in the balls as a game. Which, yes, I was one of those assholes when I was growing up. When I think about these characters that I specifically just mentioned, they have relationships with each other, not just Grog. For example, Stanlin and Pike have a weird little thing where Stanlin's trying to get her to date him because Stanlin is essentially the horny bard and she is the cleric, the pure, kind cleric who isn't really interested in that. But they kind of seem to be kind of building up to a relationship between the two of them, and I'm interested in seeing how that goes. Pike also seems to have a bit of a friendship with Vax as well. In one of the episodes where Vax's sister, Vex, yes, I know their names are very confusing, especially for someone with dyslexia like me, sends him on his way to talk to a man who owns a store who he wants to get information from to fight a dragon. She makes jokes at the fact that the man actually has a crush on Vax, and Pike gives him a grin, and as the scene goes on, you see him trying to flick her in the face for grinning at him, and they're just having a very playful moment with each other. It's all really nicely done, and it's not really in the forefront of the scene, so you have to pay attention to it. So there's a lot of stuff like this throughout the show. Vex is actually, funny enough, the leader of the group, but not in a way of like Captain America talking to the Avengers. It's more of a older sister trying to reel in her siblings, trying to get them to focus and do the best they can. Every time one of them has an emotional moment, or every time one of them is like panicking or something, she notices and asks them if they're okay. She's very caring, but she's also very opportunistic. Out of all the characters in the show, a few of them care more about money than the others. In the scene where they're all running out of the cave of the dragon's lair, she's one of the characters carrying money and gold. Kidolith is kind of the more insecure out of all the characters in the group. She's not 100% secure in her ability to do what she needs to do. She's very scared more than the other ones, at least visibly, and she's easily more shaken than the other ones. At the end of episode 3, Percy has a bit of a panic attack and yells at the rest of the group, but Kidolith takes it more personally than the others, and I'm curious to see how that goes along in the show. I want to see how she develops, and I want to see how her get more confident in her abilities. And I actually really want to see how her and Percy interact after this, because she clearly took it way more personal than the other characters when he yelled at them. And I really want to see if they kind of make up. Speaking of Percy, Percy's the most mysterious out of all the characters right now in the show. He has a very dark backstory from what I can tell, and it is really depressing. He kind of comes off as this proper prim character, but the moment he needs to be merciless, he is the first one to shoot someone's hand off. And I love Percy. He has something in him that I am curious to see how they go with it in the show. I don't know what is going on with him with the whole shadow thing, but it's really interesting, and I'm super excited to see what they do with it. And I want to see his little sub-story, like, continue. I cannot wait for the next episode. Now I want to talk about some of the, I guess you can say, negatives, but I don't see this that negative, if I'm being honest. I think it's more of a nitpick. A lot of the plot is fairly predictable. Episode 2's big reveal of Krog being the actual, like, bad guy and being the dragon was something I predicted a long time ago, if I'm being honest. The moment that a giant group of people get attacked by the dragon that Krog is also a part of, and Krog is nowhere to be seen, obviously he's gonna be the dragon. But the scene is actually pretty interesting because it has another character moment that actually is pretty funny. After Krog comes up behind Fence, I think his name was, the guy that was essentially the red herring of the episode, he stabs him through the back with a sword, and Vax's reaction was, "Oh, hey, nice form!" Because Vax is actually a rogue character who is more focused on stealth than the other ones. So when he sees a guy covered in plated armor stab someone through the back without making a noise, he actually praises him. It's pretty funny because game respects game, I guess. It's a great scene, and I really loved watching it. Because he's just like, "Hey, nice form, bro." But the characters carry the show for me, and I'm really interested in see how they go along. I think they're going to develop into more interesting characters as the show goes along as well, but I'm not 100% sure because, I haven't seen the campaign, so I have no idea. But that's my video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Let me know if you guys have watched Vox Machina. Let me know if you guys like Vox Machina, and if you like D&D. And please hit the like button, share, tell me in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.